Tiffany had a horrible wig. I did not like that.
The
that
wig was
black
bad.
wig. Woo.
Another wig was bad too. We get to that in a moment too.
You talking about Molly?
Yes. I don't know why they did that. Just keep the shortcut.
Right. That wouldn't work. That wet and wavy, you could keep.
I mean, was that the wig from her mother's head?
Girl.
I mean, did they bury Molly's mom and just say, let me get this wig on Molly now? Like, what? Where did that come from? But yes, back to Tiffany's wig. That was terrible.
Hello. It's been a minute, but I'm back with the jump off. It's your girl, Marla Denise. You're in for another episode of the Inside My Box podcast. Today, I have a special guest, my best friend, and we're about to talk about two other best friends in a minute. But my best friend, Bianca, DeSheé, Cathey, is on the program. Round of applause, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
So, we had to come back and talk about our favorite show, Insecure, coming to an end. Like, no more seasons at all. I'm sad. Are you sad?
Not after seeing this final season. I think that they did a good job wrapping everything up. Like, I was not left with wanting anymore. I think they gave me everything, so I'm cool with it ending on this note.
Yeah, they ended how you predicted. You thought her and Lawrence were coming together in the end. So let's not jump the gun. Let's go, break it down. So the first scene is Nathan saying, "Look, I'm tired of this mess. I don't want no more. Like, this is not good for me." And you have been saying this whole time that this situation is just not good for him and everything that's going on in his life. And he finally recognized that and was like, look, I need to take myself out of the situation. And I was like, choose yourself, love yourself. Yes, I love that for him. Like, what were you thinking? Like, did you think the breakup would be that soon in the episode?
I was hoping that it would be. I was really hoping the breakup would have come a little sooner because it was not an ideal situation for either one of them, not what either one needed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it needed to be dead.
Yeah, he has a lot going on with his new, diagnosis and then at the shop and just learning how to be settled in LA. You see, like before in a previous episode, he was like, I don't know if LA is the right fit. I said, I feel seen because it takes a minute for you to get adjusted and for LA to feel like home. And you see in this episode, later on in this episode, he says that LA is finally feeling like home. And that took me about 4 years to get there. So I feel his pain. I understand. And dealing with like a relationship like that with all that mess and almost getting in a fight, I'm so glad that he chose himself. I was like, look, please, before y'all move in and put both names on that lease, exit. So I'm glad that happened.
I felt like there should have maybe been a conversation between the two after the fight. I thought that by him just taking himself out of the situation, ghosting, quote unquote, again, was a sign for Issa that, no, this is not what I need to be doing. How did you feel about that? Did you feel like they should have talked about that situation, or should it have just ended the way that he did?
Well, I mean, it should have ended the way it did because it was meant to be done. But at the same time, Issa did not really fight for it though. As you notice, like when he said, I need some space, she was like, okay. And she walked out and he looked like, wait a minute, like, you just gonna leave? Like you not gonna say nothing right now?
Do you remember if she asked him to express his feelings or anything during that ride home?
When he dropped her off, she was like, please come inside, let's talk about it, please. And he was like, nah, I ain't got nothing to say.
Okay, see that right there. Nathan does not know how to communicate.
He
So
doesn't.
he is not ready for a relationship. You're gonna have to communicate to be in a relationship. So yeah, his non-communication the whole time he was in the picture is why I've never seen it for him. So good riddance to Nathan.
Bye, Felicia.
Well, I was glad it ended that soon, so it could be some space for her to heal from that, because she really did love him and heal from that. She loved him, Bianca.
I think he was just a rebound. That's my opinion on that. I don't think she ever really liked him, yet let alone loved him. He was just a filler for Lawrence not being with her. But okay, go ahead.
You like, I'm gonna let you have it. But yeah, she came inside, he was like, you ain't gonna fight. So she just let it go. She cried all night, was depressed about it. And then the next scene was Molly's birthday in her apartment. Issa organized the birthday. Torian's family was there, and it was her first time meeting Torian's family. So she was really nervous because previous insecurities of meeting family made her think that, oh, I might mess this up or whatever the case might be. So she was taking her precious time, getting ready. Tiffany came in town all the way from Denver, flew in. And then Kelly actually has a steady boyfriend now, we see. What were your thoughts about that whole scene of seeing, progression of Kelly finally getting a storyline, Tiffany coming in, and then just Molly's birthday?
Molly's birthday scene, was this a flash forward scene?
It was.
And what was the time that had gone by before this birthday scene?
I don't know the time periods between the birthdays. They just skipped to everyone's birthday. So
I'm saying the time from when Issa was in the mirror and she said something like, just jump to my life.
Yeah.
Fast forward to when everything is good. Mm-hmm. And then the next thing they showed us was her throwing Molly's party at her apartment. So do you remember what that time frame was?
They didn't tell us how much time had passed. It was just her birthday. Yeah, I have no clue how much time passed.
Okay. But yeah, Kelly is one of my favorite characters. So anytime we can see her story, I'm always here for it. I wish that we could have seen more of her throughout this season, throughout the series, really.
Thank you. Like the whole series, she never had a steady boyfriend. She never had a true passion. She was just the comedic relief. And I'm like, this always happens with plus size women. We are always the butt of the joke. Always nothing serious happens with us. And I'm like, finally, at the last episode, but finally, she has a steady boyfriend. They really didn't tell how they met because they both were laughing. So ain't no telling with Kelly.
They didn't tell anything really, just that she has a man now.
Right. And then Tiffany came in, missing LA. Torian's folks were there talking about she still keeps him in check, but they have a good balance where they keep things separate from the work and then the personal. So that's good. I was concerned about that.
Yeah, I think that they both probably keep each other in check. Yeah. Which I was happy to see that relationship blossom. I thought that was a good match for Molly because she met her match with him. He met his match with her.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad they're able to keep it separate because I was like, that's messy. Like dating somebody you work with, I wouldn't recommend. But they're making it work. And then Molly's mother was there to celebrate with her, which is important.
It's a little foreshadowing too.
Yeah. And so the next scene is Issa's surprise birthday at Krayshawn's. Now, confusion. Confusion. Why is she at Krayshawn's? Does this mean that she didn't take the deal with Nothing But Water? Because what makes it seem like she didn't take the deal is because they were taking donations for birthday gifts instead of giving her gifts. So if she would have taken the deal with MBW, she wouldn't have need the money.
Okay.
So, and then she was excited to get 5,000, which if you're running a business, 5,000 might last you a few months, if that, maybe 1 or 2 months. So I'm like, okay, you're excited to get this 5,000. That might mean that you didn't take the deal. And plus you're at Krayshawn's place doing, I don't know what. I have still never no clue what Issa does. So So that was I was like, okay, she didn't take the deal. She's having this surprise birthday party thrown by Molly and her assistant. I forgot her assistant name. But
Koya.
yeah. Oh, Koi.
Koya, right?
Okay, Koya. Okay.
Koya, I think that's her name. Yeah,
It looked like
Koya.
quinoa when you spelled it.
Yeah, that's how it's spelled. Yeah, with the Q. But good observation. I didn't even pick up on that the first time I watched it. I've only seen it once since it premiered. I haven't rewatched it. But yeah, I didn't pick up on that, the donation part. So right, that must mean that she did not take the deal with NBW. So then the funding, how is she receiving funds for these projects?
I have no clue.
Yeah, they did not give us much detail on Issa's career progression this season, unfortunately.
I really would have liked, like you've been saying this whole time, to see that creative process, being a creative entrepreneur. Yes, we could see the success that comes with it, but they didn't go into the process enough, because
They did not.
I still have no clue what she does.
And you would have thought that they would have used this season to explain that, since season 4, the previous season, was based in, kind of entirely around her career transition from quitting We Got Y'all to becoming an entrepreneur and figuring out what it is that she wanted to do. So yeah, I would have liked to see season 5 go into some more detail about that as well. Yeah. It kind of left us in the wind with that one.
And a quick note about that: when Insecure started, when she was writing the first pilot, when she pitched to HBO, it was mainly about work setting things. It was mainly like a off, similar to Awkward Black Girl, where it was a lot of work setting and a lot of things that happened in the workplace. But as she was developing these characters, and they had storylines, and everybody was interested in, what's happening with Lawrence and what's happening with this person. So it became more about her life and her relationships, and then work is a major part of it, but it became more about her life. So I'm wondering if, they made it tailor-made to where they had to give you updates on everybody else's life, because that's what we wanted anyways. We wouldn't want a whole finale on, or a whole season on her career. They had to fit in everybody else's storyline and lives and their updates too. So
I think they could have done that too, and given us detail about her work, because they did show some work scenes, but just for no explanation. Like, they would show her meeting with NBW, but we don't know why. And like you brought up several times, like, what does this water company have an interest in this
Black artist?
Yeah, like, what is the connection there?
I have no clue.
So yeah, I think that they could have done a better job still including her work and the personal lives, like they did the previous 4 seasons. They've been doing it the whole series. They just didn't do it this last season.
And I always wonder, why can't she do both? Like, so you can take that bag and help the community. I don't see why you can't do both. Like, that's not being a sellout. You need money to help the community. So, well, I mean, that's I don't know what to say about that, other than hopefully somebody can give us an explanation in the comments about what she does, because I have no clue.
Oh, in the documentary, they didn't talk about that either?
No.
Yeah, I guess they want us to just use our imagination on that one then. Okay.
I work in corporate America, so I don't know what creatives do. I barely know all the creative aspects and stuff. So
is she a creative though?
I don't know. She
we don't know.
She throws events. That's all I know.
I don't know either. On that one.
So yeah, she took the donations, got $5,000, and Molly has an estate division that she pitched to Kelly during that birthday party. That's when we see that Molly has already started the ball rolling for Kelly to get in, to work with this Black firm to help, people who need estate planning. So Kelly has found her passion, but she's not yet ready to make that leap. And then Nathan comes to the birthday party. Why?
Exactly. Why was he in this last episode? Why was he in this last season? That's what I've been asking myself all season long. Why? Why do we keep seeing Nathan?
I mean, on the wind down, Issa did say that originally she did not want Issa, the character, to end up with Lawrence. Originally, she was wanting her and Nathan, the character, and Nathan to end up together because she didn't want to see the back and forth and going back and stuff. Like, she wanted to start a new, fresh thing. And so she knew, though, because of the segment that we had, like someone else, an executive producer that works on the show, said that we can't show them as being soulmates and not have the soulmates end up being together. Like, that doesn't make sense. So they were like, kind of like, we gotta have them be together because that's what everybody expects. And that, like, people will be disappointed if they
Sure
weren't.
would have.
Yeah, if they
'Cause
weren't
now,
together.
if they had ended the season like that, then I would have been like right at this end. I would have been dumbfounded, confused, because that would not have made any sense
She
at
deserves a fresh
all.
start. She deserves a fresh start.
Okay, if she wanted a fresh start, it shouldn't have been with inconsistent, non-communicating Nathan. Find somebody else or be by yourself. If you don't want Lawrence, okay. But Nathan was never it.
Nathan was good to her. He just wasn't
How he gonna
ready.
be good when he ain't around? You gotta be present. He wasn't present.
I had no clue why he came to this birthday party though. It was closure. It was closure. They got some closure. He was like, he cleared up about some things. He said he was like, I was just angry. He let her know that he's more settled in, and she was happy about that. But there was no move of like, oh, maybe in the future or maybe we should. Like, they both were kind of like, yeah, it happened. The breakup needed to happen. Here's a donation from, the shop because you helped us out. And that was it. And I think that was good closure. I think that would needed that. That's like, I wish I could get that type of closure every time. That never happens for me though.
I guess as soon as they had both already moved on, the chapter had already been closed. He just came. I mean, good thing that he gave, some money. That's always welcome. And since she did help them out, it was good to return that favor. But I could have done without seeing him then. I really could have done without seeing him in that scene.
The door was closed, but she was still feeling the type of way, you could tell. Because at Molly's birthday, before that, she was like, I got to get out of here. LA is too small. I got to get up out of here. And Molly was like, you still feeling, some type of way? Like, she was like my life is a mess. Yes. Like, she still felt like everything was up in the air. And that was a part of it, was the failure of Nathan and her relationship.
Nathan or Lawrence?
Both.
I think it was more so Lawrence.
Yeah, we all
was
know
what was always in the back of her mind, because you saw, I'll mention it when we get to that scene, but you saw how that came around again to her thinking about Lawrence. Oh, and going back to that scene that you're referring to with Molly's birthday party, did that come after she had spoken to Lawrence for his birthday? When she said something about LA is too small?
No, that was before.
So she said that to Molly at Molly's party?
Yep.
At Molly's apartment.
When she was getting dressed, Molly was getting dressed in
I wonder what made her say that.
Because she was going through it. She was depressed after the Nathan breakup. Lawrence was in the wind. She hadn't talked to him. She was just going through it. She wasn't emotionally, at a good space.
And that scene that was the first thing that we saw in the flash forward.
Right.
So I wonder how long time had been. That's why
that's a good question.
I want to know, because how long had it been since they broke up in the situation with Lawrence at Tiffany and Derek's party? Like, how much time had gone for her to heal?
I don't know it. I don't think it was enough time for her to be fully healed, because she was still feeling like sad and feeling a type of way, needing an escape. And on the wind down afterwards, they said about 3/4 of this show was supposed to be in Morocco. You remember her and Molly were supposed to take a trip to Morocco, but they cut that out because it wasn't LA. And like, this whole show is a love story to LA as well. So they decided to keep it all in LA. But, that might have been like a key scene to transition to Morocco, because she was saying she needed to get up out of LA. But yeah.
And when she made that statement about getting up out of here, I thought back to when Molly said that same thing during that season when they wanted to go to Morocco. That was Molly's whole thing that season was, I got to get up out of here. I got to get away. I forget which season that was. I think it was season 3.
I think so.
And I forget what Molly was going through, why she kept wanting to get away too then.
Through a lot. She'd gone through a lot. Ain't no telling. Probably the DeSheé situation.
And was that the season when she had the work situation as well, when she found out that she was getting paid less than her white male counterpart at the firm and she was debating on whether or not to leave or stay?
I don't know.
It was kind of like a full circle moment. Like Molly was going through what Issa's going through now. She was going through the choices of, you know, who should I be with and the work situation. And now Issa's going through that. So yeah, that was cool how the writers made a full circle moment out of that.
And they talked in the wind down again how some friends progress a little bit faster, maybe grow a little faster or grow at different rates. So, you know, one friend might be at this stage in their lives where the other friend is still down here, where, you know, there's a different, you know, communication, friction is there because they're in different spaces. And then, you know, progressively, if you stay with and you do the work to stay, you know, friends, you'll get to this point where you're both progressing at a similar rate. And there's just like, you know, peace and tranquility, I guess. But
after Issa made that statement about needing to get up out of here, what did Molly say to her in response?
She was like, you still feeling like, and then Issa was like, yeah, I feel like my life is something about my life. Like my life is a mess, something into that thing. And then Molly was like, girl, so she was like, you're doing well, you know. It was a good positive, like trying to cheer her up type of thing.
Because Molly had already been through that. So that's something that you can get from moving at a different pace, going through different things at different times. When your best friend has already gone through it, when it's your time to go through it, I mean, hey, that's, you know, the perfect person to learn from, get some advice from to get through it. So I'm glad they showed that progression in their relationship, their friendship as well.
So that next scene is Tiffany in Denver. That house goals. Woo! That house was beautiful.
Yeah.
And it fit her in her bourgeoisie type of vibe. But she hates Denver. And they don't talk about, you know, somebody on Twitter was like, people don't talk about how you got to move around and compromise for your spouse, you know, a lot in their careers. And I'm like, I don't know if I can compromise like that. That's a lot.
Yeah, compromise is definitely one of those major things in a healthy relationship, a successful relationship. You have to compromise.
I really thought that she was going to be more down to earth. She was going to be closer to his family, out of the LA scene. And, you know, just like, I really thought she was going to be happy, but apparently not. Everybody doesn't get the happy ending, I guess. That's life. So at least right now, she has to transition and get used to the lifestyle out there. And hopefully she can find some work. I would think, you know, you'll be able to, if she does PR work, she'd be able to do that remotely. But I'm not a PR person, so I don't know.
I don't know about PR either. And I don't know how much time had passed then either. Like how much time from when they showed them all together at their going away party until Tiffany's birthday. I don't remember how much time had passed, but that wasn't her end. So I don't know if we should have seen her fully happy then, because that wasn't her end. They still showed some more of their storyline throughout the rest of that episode. The difference in her birthday party compared to what we saw previously with Issa's and Molly's, what did you take from that? From
empty
those
boots.
Okay.
Empty boots.
Yeah.
But I think only because she's not in LA. A lot of people can't go. People are not going to fly from LA to Denver just for your birthday. Like, it's only the core friends that came out. And he had already, like her husband said that none of his friends came out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's different when you move away that far. Like it had been 3 years since I had seen you. Last time I saw you was like a
Mm-hmm.
3-year gap between that and the time before. So it's like it's not easy to see your friends when you're in different states. So it was understandable. And she hadn't made friends yet. So
Mm-hmm. And she was talking like she wasn't really that close with Derek's family in Denver either.
yeah.
What
Like
about her? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say is she said that the appeal of having the granddaughter had worn off, and they were
Mm-hmm.
like, "Hey, yeah, we love her. Come take her."
Mm-hmm. And then she was bigger now. She wasn't baby Simone anymore. Simone was a
Walking.
toddler, walking and talking. So yeah, things change. You feel differently about kids as they get older. Um, by her being a mother, do you think that has something to do with the scale of the party as well, the setting of the party and how it was set up? Because she's a mother, and the other girls are not.
Yeah, probably because I would have found a club or some type of restaurant or something to go out and have fun and have some drinks. So, but maybe, she just wanted to chill at the house with, a few desserts that he passed out with the baby. I
Right,
guess,
right.
when you get older and you have kids, you gotta find fun, adult kid having fun.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what they tried to show too.
Yeah.
And why they showed Simone bringing the cupcakes out, like they included her in that scene, I think, to show this is motherhood for Tiffany
Yeah.
now. This is how it's looking.
And
It's a
she,
different thing.
yeah, she's not transitioning too well.
And because the first season, when they went to that house, wasn't that for Tiffany's birthday?
The first season one.
Season one, when they went to the house,
Oh,
and
for
I
that
forget where the
party, and it
house
had
was.
alpha stuff on the wall.
Not the get together. When they went to a house, was when Issa and not Tiffany, Issa and Molly had their falling out, and Issa and Lawrence had already broken up, and they were at this house, and I think this was for Tiffany's birthday party. And this was the first time that we saw the game We Did Say when they were playing it at the club scene.
Uh-huh. I thought they played that game in Coachella.
They did that too. But the first time we saw them do that, when they I forget where the house was, but I think it was for Tiffany's party. And you remember they went wine tasting, and Molly and Tiffany were like, we taste these different things in the wine. And Issa was like, I just taste wine.
I remember that, but I don't remember that being at somebody's house.
Yeah, no, it was a vacation house, like an Airbnb that they went out of
Okay.
town to. And I
Yeah.
forget where it was. I think that was for Tiffany's birthday too. So that's interesting to see how that party was for her when she was
And it
not
was
a
way turned
mother.
up.
And now that she's a mother, how this party is.
Yeah, she was drunk and everything.
They were living it up.
Right.
Right. She had no responsibilities then.
Yeah. Life changes when you have kids. That's why I don't have any right now.
Hello.
I don't want my life to change. Okay. But yeah, Simone is the only Black girl in her class. She has that's
got to be tough too.
Yeah, because you got to teach her everything about everything.
Blessing.
But Issa said she met somebody new, but she said, he cool. He'll give her. I'm gonna take her. It's nothing serious, but you can see how time has progressed where Lawrence probably still is on her mind, because we see when she goes inside of the house and she sees a picture of Lawrence, she's like she can't even hardly move,
Yes, he's always in their mind.
Always, but she has separated herself so far from him because she doesn't think it'll ever work out. And so she is, having these relationships with these guys, and they don't mean anything. And then we see Molly going inside, still working because she's the boss that she is, working on some stuff while on the trip. And Molly asked her, what I always wonder, what would you say to Lawrence if Nathan didn't interrupt?
Can we go back to Molly working at the table?
Yeah.
Did she mention something about Torian during that scene doing something?
I don't remember.
I can't remember either. But I was thinking maybe something that she said then kind of told the story about how they were balancing the work life
No, that
between
was
them two.
later. I think that was later. Her the next Molly birthday when she was actually at work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this one, Asa walked in on Molly doing work. She was like, "You still at it?" She was like, "Yeah, girl." And then they were talking about wine juice. She made a wine juice song. And then Issa got a wine cup out of the cabinet and saw a picture with Lawrence in it. And then Molly was like, "You know what? I will always wonder what would be your response if Nathan didn't interrupt." And she was like, you know, she trying to dismiss it, like, girl, you know, she doesn't want to think about it because she thinks that it's over. She thinks that ship has sailed. And so she doesn't even want to acknowledge her feelings at this point.
Yeah, just psyching herself out, just
Mhm.
delaying the inevitable.
It's not a delay. I think you have to go through these processes. You have to go through the process of, is it going to happen? Is it, you go through these trials and tribulations, and now the foundation is stronger than ever. Like nothing can get between her and Lawrence now because they've gone through so much. Years of separation. It had been like 5 years since the first breakup.
Yeah, it's
Or
kind of
more.
still delaying the inevitable to me. I think she should have made her mind up and kept with it instead of going back and forth. Going back and forth, because you see what he was doing while she was wishy-washy going back and forth. But we'll get to it, but you keep on playing if you want to.
He was finding suitors,
Okay.
okay?
You keep on playing if you want to.
I want to know what social group they all a part of, because everybody was fine and everybody was professional and had money. Like, where are they meeting these people? I need to know so I can join. Like, what is going on? But yeah, that happened. And then the biggest wow factor for me during the episode was Molly gets a call from her brother, and we find out the mother didn't make it. That was,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That was sad. That was a tough one right there. I was not expecting that. Insecure hadn't been that dark throughout the series, so I was not expecting that. That was sad to see.
Yeah.
But we had kind of seen them play with death throughout this whole last season.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it was kind of in the cards, but yeah, that was sad. That was a sad moment.
And this whole season really showed those moments, those like life-threatening moments, to make you realize, why am I being this petty? Why am I being this childish? Why am I letting little things get in the way of the thing I really want? No, when it's all said and done, I need to be doing things that are really meant for what I want to do in my life. I can't worry about image. I can't worry about being prideful. I can't worry about, you know, whatever you worry about that's like not even serious enough to be worrying about. Like, I got to do what I need to do in order to make things work. Like him and Lawrence and Condola, they had to do what they had to do to make their relationship work for the child. They had to be adults. And it's all about, you know, letting your feelings be on the side and doing what you need to do in order to make things work for the long term. And when Molly's mother passed, Issa afterwards made a call to Lawrence for his birthday. And I think, you know, on the wind down, they talked about that, like that passing of the mother made her realize, look, I need to, you know, do things that are for me, that I make me happy, even if I don't think it's going to work out, or if I'm nervous or whatever the case might be. So she gives Lawrence a call. Lawrence first got a call from his mama wishing him a happy birthday in Jesus' name. And then Issa calls very awkwardly to ask him out, and he says, "Oh, I got plans."
I mean, why would he be sitting around waiting on her? He professed his love to her. Nothing. She been wishy-washy, going back and forth. And I don't blame him for not waiting around and moving on.
Oh, He
at
should.
all. And I'm glad that she felt that, because girl, we need you to make your mind up. Stop playing. Nobody has time to be playing. Make your mind up, do what you want to do, and move on.
And you hear, oh, go ahead.
I forget, so you can go ahead.
You heard her say on the call to him, she was like, I didn't want too much time to pass. Because if you wait too long, there is a time where like you wait too many years pass, he gonna be like, okay, look, I done found somebody else. I'm trying to make it work to her, with her. You done played around too much. Like if you let the time pass too much, you done lost your window of opportunity. So she was like, I don't want to let too much time pass. I've been thinking about us. I've been thinking about you, all this kind of stuff. And it was a little bit too late because he done found a new boo.
Yeah, it was probably not too late for him, because you see how he still was like, we can go to dinner. So he kept it open.
Yeah.
Which I guess they had both been doing for each other throughout the series, keeping the door open for one another to always be able to come back in. But I was happy that they did show Lawrence moving on, because nobody has time to be playing Issa's games. You know that you want to be with him, be with him. What are you, waiting for, stalling for, wasting time with other people who you know it's not going to work with? So I was happy for them to show that, because nobody's got time to be playing around with you, Issa.
Right. And then so she quickly hangs up because she's awkward and embarrassed about the call, I guess. And then she tries to call Molly, but of course she doesn't answer, as Molly is mourning. She's not going to be available for your whatever you want to talk about. She's mourning her mother. And then we go to Kelly's birthday, dressing nice. I love that dress Kelly was in. Her man was by her side. Tiffany had a horrible wig. I did not like that.
The wig was bad. Another wig was bad too. We get to that in a moment too.
You talking about Molly?
Yes. I don't know why they did that. Just keep the shortcut.
Right. That wouldn't work. That wet and wavy, you could keep.
I mean, was that the wig from her mother's head?
Girl.
I mean, did they bury Molly's mom and just say, let me get this wig on Molly now? Like, what? Where did that come from? But yes, back to Tiffany's wig. That was terrible.
That was bad.
And shocked that Tiffany wore that, because usually she's always on point.
Okay. She letting herself go. But anyways, back to Kelly's birthday. Kelly has an announcement. She is having a baby. And Issa looks happy, but kind of like sad, because she realizes everybody's life is progressing, and she is staying in the same place, wondering what if, trying to figure things out with this man who is very attractive, but she don't care about this man.
Where did she meet the man? Did they show that, how she and the new guy met?
Tiffany and her husband asked them how they met.
And
they went around in circles. She was like, I saw him on an app. He came to an event, and I thought I knew him before, or some blah, blah, blah. Like, it was really like random.
Yeah, it was. I remember that part now. Okay.
Yeah. And then, so I think Issa was like, really like, it was more pressure for her to be like, I need to get my shit together. I gotta figure out what is meant for me, what I need to be doing, because everybody is progressing and being happy in their lives and making moves. And she didn't even think that Kelly wanted to have. Kelly said that she didn't want to have kids. She was like, I just didn't want to have kids with any old man. I want to have this man's kids, though. So I guess when you meet the right person, you might be able to change your mind about, what you want, depending on what it is.
Yeah, I thought too, from that scene, I took from it things that you may think that you couldn't do, but you can really do them if you want to. And forgetting about what anybody else thinks or how it looks to anybody. If it's what you want, go for it. Yeah. So I thought that's what Issa took from that scene. You thinking that you can't be with Lawrence, but you want to. So go ahead on and do it.
And you see the next scene, she's back at home with her man trying to get it on. She in her lingerie getting it on, and the mirror woman is talking, to her. That's her insecurity, the mirror lady. And Lawrence calls. And the mirror woman was like, don't answer that. It will never work out. And you finally see Issa be like, how do you know? She's questioning that little voice in her head, that insecurity, saying, oh no, all these negative things. And she's like, wait a minute, how do you know though? How do you know it's not going to work out? And the mirror lady didn't even have an answer because it's all fake insecurity that she's been feeding Issa this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So she didn't answer the call. She eventually, goes with her man and does whatever. But like that was the first time where she's like fighting back against this insecurity that's been feeding her this negativity this whole series, I think.
And just in her own head.
Yeah. And so after that, Molly's birthday, the second Molly birthday, Issa calls her and then she's at work and says that Torian has a surprise. That's where we see the wig and the wedding waving. And Issa asks, how are you managing? She says work is a good distraction, but she misses her mother and how she has to realize that she's going to go through several other birthdays without this woman being in her life. And that's real shit.
Yeah.
That's real shit. As we get older, and we're the same age as these characters.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's it's way too close to home. But the friendships are getting harder to maintain because they're all busy. They mentioned and now Kelly works at the law firm with Molly. And so we see the progression of that storyline where Kelly is doing something that she's really passionate about. She has a baby, she has a man. Molly has a steady, boyfriend who loves her, and she's more mature now. She says, life shit happens. She's like, you can plan all you want to, but life happens. And
that's true.
And then after that, Lawrence visits the block, the Blow CC.
Yeah. Okay. So now we at Issa's workplace, just left Molly's workplace with Kelly. I'm gonna go back to that. This season they kind of showed more of the four friends with the different friend dynamics in their group. We saw more of Kelly and Molly, and Issa and Tiffany, and I like that. I like that they showed that.
All other seasons, it was just Kelly and Tiffany,
right?
And then they would join in with Molly and Issa sometimes,
right?
But it was more of a 4-girl group that was stronger together this season.
And even when you have groups, you always gonna have pairs who are closer in a group friendship, and we always know that Issa and Molly were the closest in that 4 friend group, and Kelly and Tiffany. I like this season how they showed the other 2 relationships working, how we got to see Kelly and Molly and Issa and Tiffany, who are kind of opposites out of the 4. They probably are the furthest away from being, but I like that they showed their progression and their growth in their friendship. I like to see that.
Everybody's maturing and getting out of those ego, whatever barriers that they put themselves in, and just being real people supportive of each other. But so Lawrence takes do you notice this? Issa was looking at fabrics.
Which is the confusion. I mean, what is she doing? Like, she's not a fashion designer, so why is she looking at swatches?
I have no
for Crenshaw's business. Like, what? And so the block, that's the building she was in. So that's her office building then. So she's not in Crenshaw's building anymore. Okay, so there was some progression in. She has her own office building.
Right. So she must have more clients, or whatever her and Crenshaw are doing are progressing.
Or since that was her office building, was she looking at swatches for like furniture she's gonna put in the office? Maybe that's what she was doing. I have to go back and look again, but now that I think back, maybe that's what she was doing since she was just moving into her new office space. Maybe she was looking at swatches for furniture in her new office space.
That would have made more sense than whatever she's doing with Krishan.
Yes, that would.
That would have made more sense.
Yes, that would.
But so we see that, and he walks in, she gives him a quick little tour, and she, mentions how she was in her own head this whole time. And the only person who didn't believe in her was herself. And she had to tell herself that it was going to be possible for her to believe it. And for it to work out. And he's like, do you believe it's going to work out? And she says, I'm willing to find out.
Mm-hmm.
And he, like a man, goes in for that kiss, and he knew it was going to be received well.
Yes.
And you know, they I'm glad it didn't go into a sex scene, because it's really not about sex at that moment. It was just about them connecting and realizing, like, look, we knew this was gonna happen. Like, we've been for years now, because this is the second Molly birthday, for at least 2 years now.
Has it been just two? Because I get lost with those time lapses. Like I didn't know how much time was going on by.
That was the day of Molly's birthday. That was the second birthday they had shown, because the first birthday
Was
was
that the
at her
same
apartment.
day though? Was that the
Yeah,
same when
she had just
Lawrence
gotten off the
came by?
call. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Because Issa had the same outfit on.
Okay then. Okay. Okay.
And so she was at the office with her earbuds in and got off the call with Molly. And then Lawrence came, you know, shortly after. She had the same outfit on.
And where did he come
So
from? Like how they get back connected? What made her answer the phone this time? What made him answer the phone this time?
we never know.
I wish they would have shown that. Like he just came out of nowhere and just stopped by the office. Okay, all right, Insecure.
We never know. But we now know that they're connected. They want to try it, and they're getting serious. And you know, they've gone through enough that they stop playing, both of them on both sides, to me, not just Issa. Lawrence too, stop playing and fight for what you want. And so now, a year later, we're going to jump a year later into the wedding. Now, you predicted the wedding because there were pictures of them being super dressed up. Right. And so when you saw that, I was like, okay, if there's going to be a wedding, it's going to be Issa and Lawrence. I kind of like
curveball.
Right. Like we all thought it was going to be Issa and Lawrence. Yeah. Like, but no, it's Molly and Tyrion, and then Torian, I'm sorry. And then Kid Fury on Twitter was like, once they took them edibles and ate all that food before they conserved it out to the people, he knew that he was the one.
I mean, Torian is for Molly. I'm happy to see. I wish we could have seen more of that this season. I would have liked to see more of their relationship.
Because that is a grown man. First of all, you eating edibles and enjoying yourself. First of all, you supportive of her during her hard time.
Yes. Yes.
And took care of the presentation and didn't really, you know, hold it against her too much. Mm-hmm. Then you keep in contact to make sure she's okay during, you know, her mom's situation, and just to keep that connection, because you felt a little something, and y'all are both, you know, like she said, they were both reaching that line but didn't want to cross it, and she gave them the green light, and that allowed them to explore it.
When did she give him the green light?
You remember they were all four of the friends were at Issa's place, and they were about to go out. I think it was the episode before this. They were about to go out, but they never went out. And so they were all like smoking and playing the hat game, the questions game. And she was like, should I give him the green light? And then the actual song Green Light came on. She was like, oh yeah,
I remember
that's mine.
now.
Yeah.
I remember now. Okay.
That she gave him a green light. You know, something else happened where she did the estate planning with her parents, and that, you know, kind of brought her down. So she didn't want to go out on a date with him. He was like, no worries, love. He postmated her Wingstop and wine. Now, if somebody do that for me, we are together, we are steady, you might move in. Like, what?
And I love the fact how he wasn't intrusive.
Exactly.
Like when she said, I just can't make it, he didn't pressure her. He didn't inquire about anything. He understood and was still there for her.
Yep.
He still was able to be there for her without making her uncomfortable in that moment. So yeah, Torian is it. I'm happy to see Molly with him. I'm happy to see that. That was a good pairing.
He understands it's not about him in that moment. Like, you can't make it out with me because you're going through something. I understand that. Let me also feed you with this Wingstop and wine.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Love to see it.
Yes.
And then also, you know, the good time with the edibles, and it was something else I think he had done, though. I was like, he's just a grown man. Like, you can't deny his mature. Oh, when Dro came up and she explained that situation with Dro, and he was like, okay,
it's whatever. We all got to pass.
Right. Yes. I said, thank you. Torian, more Torians, please.
Yes, more Torians, please.
Less Dro.
More Torians. Would have liked to see more Torian this season too. Yes. But okay.
I'm talking about in real life. But
yes, in real life too.
But yeah, so they're married now. You see that they had a mural for, you know, section for her mother with the pictures, and, you know, she was dancing with her father. everybody's there. Tiffany's pregnant with the second baby. They're all wearing red, which I want to really understand the significance with red, because ever since that scene going forward, Issa only wore red. If you notice, like from the wedding going forward, she only wore red. Do you know the significance of that?
I do not know the significance of it yet, but the costume designer and her Instagram is at Shiona T. Maybe she'll give some stories on why they chose to put her in red from that scene on forward. But I did see that Princess made a post about Issa in the red suit, which we'll get to, I guess, when we get to that last scene. But we'll talk about that then. But I don't know what the significance of red was going forward.
And I know, I was like, that's interesting. Like it was different outfits, but it was all red. And I was like, what is that? Like, is that signifying that her being secure? Like now, what is the significance of that? I actually, the costume designer, I actually messaged her or put it in our comments, like, what's the significance of red? So hopefully she'll like respond to me. But like, I noticed that. But anyways, back at the wedding, it looks very similar to Issa's real wedding scene, Issa in real life, where she got married in I think Nice, France. The whole layout looks extremely similar. And I'm wondering if she also did the show and her actual wedding during the same trip.
I don't think so. I know we talked about this last night, but I was going back to that post of them shooting that scene, and they were on a set. It was a set. So that must have been green screen that they, did to show those views. Yeah. But yeah.
Okay.
So maybe her real wedding was an inspiration for them to make that wedding scene there or somewhat, but it was a set that they actually shot it on. So
yeah. And then Issa's sad because she's losing her best friend. That's something that people talk about sometimes, where when you see your best friend getting a real relationship where you're not the number one anymore, you're not going to go to anymore, it's another person into it, and you kind of like lose that connection. It's going to be even harder for them to, stay connected. So she's mourning that a little bit, but actually still happy for her girl, and she helps her out of the dress. And we also see Lawrence there with.
Let's go back to seeing Lawrence.
Okay,
you notice how they didn't show him for like the first.
And we had a wonder,
shots.
Right?
Yeah. I was like, hold on, is Issa single and everybody else booed up, and she's single again? So yeah, him popping up, I was like, okay, thank you. Don't play with my emotions.
Right. Don't do that.
Right.
But he's there with a full beard, look like he done grew some more hair in, and there to support her, and cheered her up when she felt like she was sad, seeing Molly being married off. And then she helps Molly out of the dress, and this scene was my favorite. You said you teared up a little bit.
I did cry with them. Yeah, when they cried, I cried too.
That's the true love story. We all know that is the true love story. The work that they put in to get to this point, to last season not really fooling with each other, to seeing this season being understanding. Molly, I hated her last season, loved her this season, because she's grown so much. She's not the petty, I have to be right, I have to have the last say person anymore. She's the, I'm understanding, I want to listen, I want to make sure this is, this is a good situation for the both of us type of Molly. She's matured so much. And I think Natasha, the writer and the woman who also plays Kelly, tweeted, if this is not a commercial for therapy, I don't know what is. Because look at Molly's growth.
Yeah, I'm indifferent about Molly and Issa's friendship. Like, I think they both had blame. I was never one who saw Molly as being the agitator. I always thought that they both had an equal responsibility in the relationship.
Yeah.
Going to where it went to. And Prentice Prenny made a post about that. So he was like, we didn't expect the audience to hate Molly like they did. We expected them to see both friends as playing a part in the friendship. But I think that they both have grown in their friendship. I was happy to see this season Issa finally being there for her friend, also not Molly just being the one to always be there for Issa. I was happy to see Issa finally do things for Molly. that we had not seen in the previous seasons.
Yeah, she was there for her during her mother's time in the hospital, feeding the family, making sure the dog was walked, even though she lost the dog. She was doing things for Molly for sure. And but one thing that kind of made me think, oh, wait a minute, this is a boundary kind of push, was when she called Molly after the phone call with Lawrence. I was like, wait a minute, Molly's going through a lot. Why would you call her? And then I was glad Molly didn't answer, because of course she was mourning. But I was like, okay, that, like, don't cross that boundary, because that, like, why would Molly want to listen to anything you have to say right now? She's dealing with the most. So
Exactly. Issa still
yeah.
had to learn and think about somebody else other than herself. She's been selfish, only thinking of self.
Yeah.
But she was still having to learn then. It's not about you only. The world does not only revolve around you.
Right.
Other people are living in it too.
Right.
Understand what your friend is going through. Don't bother her with your business, your nonsense that doesn't even have to be an issue if you would just do what you need to be doing. Making issues that don't have to be issues. So no, we look, Lawrence didn't have time for it then. Molly didn't have time for it then either.
Yeah. Yeah. And then so they go to them, saying that, thank you for loving me. Molly said to Issa, thank you for loving me while I was being me. Thank you for being you, and they just came together and just was like realizing, look, this is my wedding day. I love my man, but I love you, girl. And like that friendship, that bond. And she was like, and what she said, I wrote it down. I don't know where life is going to take us, but as long as you're around, I know
I'll
I'm gonna
be
be
okay.
okay.
Yes, it'll be okay, which was the theme of the season, being
Yeah.
okay. And what she said,
Yeah.
as long as we're in this living this life together,
Mhm.
we'll be okay. Which I love that scene too. Yeah. That was a really pretty, beautiful scene.
Yeah.
Brought me to tears.
Yeah, no, it's true though. Once you have that core friend, like for you to me is that friend for me. Like as long as I'm able, and I call you up if I have like life decisions, and like I'm trying to decide, what to spend my time on, or anything that might come about where it's like serious stuff. I know I could call you and it's not going to be burdensome. Like you'll just give me, good advice and have me think about things in a different perspective. And like we all need that one person at least.
Yes.
You can call on.
Absolutely.
And so next we go to Issa riding around or being a boss in that red suit. Now, what did you say Prentice said about the red suit?
Prentice made a post about they wanted to show Issa standing in front of her office building in the red suit to bring a full circle moment from season 1 when we first saw her standing in front of the "We Got Y'all" kids in the classroom.
Oh.
So bringing it from where she was in her career then to where she is in her career now. Now the red thing, I'm not sure how that's playing a role, because I didn't even notice that until you brought it up about wearing red from Molly's wedding until the end. So hopefully the costume designer, Shiona Serini, will make some posts about that on her Instagram.
Hopefully, because that was very interesting to me. I was like, what? And that made me wear the red shirt today. So
okay. Now I think red is the color of courage.
Oh,
so maybe it's to show she's brave now, not insecure anymore. She's,
that's gotta
brave
be
now.
it. That's gotta be it. Yeah, that's gotta be it. Because it has to be some type of secure, like it has to be something that ties into her being this new person now, and for her to be wearing red like that.
And now that you bringing it up about her wearing it at Molly's wedding, was Issa relying on Molly a lot with her insecurities too? Was Molly like her crutch, so to say?
Absolutely.
So she lost that crutch now because Molly is moving on.
Ooh.
So maybe that's what was symbolized with the red then. She's losing that crutch now, so she's gonna have to be brave. So you gotta put your game face on.
Yeah.
Because you gotta go throughout this thing now without having your crutch.
Yeah, girl, we coming together. We doing things. Yes. So that makes a whole lot of sense. So yeah, she's being a boss. So you see that she has more than one employee now. They have their own building. It's fully furnished. They were, they didn't get into the specifics of what they were doing, but she leaves in her new car, her new Lexus.
The
And
building is still in Inglewood too.
yeah.
So
And that
she didn't leave Inglewood. She stayed in Inglewood.
Yep.
Even though go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Even though they showed her, making more now. Of course, she's driving this Lexus in a full suit, but she hasn't left her people. Even though she's made more, she hasn't left where she came from, which I guess is a nod to Issa in real life,
right?
As well,
because she still lives in, I think, View Park area. So she's like in real life. And so it like when she was trying to project in the future, where if she would take the Nothing But Water deal, or she would go to Crenshaw. In the future projection, she thought that if she went with Crenshaw, she would still be living in the same apartment, struggling, with Nathan, but happy, like the community would embrace her, but she wouldn't be making as much money. But if she took the deal, she would have this nice house in West Hollywood and be traveling and all this kind of stuff. And the reality of it is, maybe you won't be making as much money, but you won't be struggling if you're really putting in the work and then really committed to doing whatever it is that she does and doing it well. So she has gotten to the point where she can not only feed herself well, she can feed other people, and she can give those opportunities to other people in the community. And you see her driving around. She drove by Dunes, which is, our Hollywood sign.
Yes, it is now. Yes, it is.
I drove my mama around there Friday.
Was there a line of people taking pictures then?
Nah, not this, because it wasn't, the weather hasn't been great around in LA lately, so it wasn't a line this time. But every other time I've been there has been a line to take pictures.
That's a new Hollywood landmark now.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
That's a cultural landmark now,
right.
Thanks to Issa.
You see one of your favorites, Thug Yoda, outside with his baby girl.
It's always a good time when Thug Yoda can make an appearance. Always.
And then she drives by the Rite Aid where she was getting them draws in season 1.
I missed that part. How did I not see that part?
The guy in the Best Buy shirt, he was walking outside of Rite Aid to his car.
I didn't notice the Rite Aid, but I saw the Best Buy. Okay, so they combined both of those things in that one shot. Cool. Yep. Okay, cool.
And she rolled by. We got y'all. And my favorite, my girl Frida, she's so nice and sweet. I want to hang with her in real life and get like some brunch or something. Like, she is so sweet, and she really cares about what she's doing. And you see her look like she's running things at We Got Y'all. And Issa doesn't stop or say nothing. She's just riding by, reminiscing, and pulls up to this house, another nice house. So you see her and Lawrence together, bringing that money together.
Yes, combining resources the Black people deserve.
We do. And I can't wait till I combine my resources with somebody. Lord, please. But yeah, you see, when you come together, you can make life much easier, much more fulfilling, and you can see Jaws there with this cake.
It's that cake. What did he do to that cake? But it's the thought that counts.
It's the thought.
Bless his heart.
But you see the growth where Issa at first couldn't even accept the fact that he had an outside child. Now the child there, they wait on the sitter to come, which means the child might be staying the night at their house. So
on her birthday at that.
Right. And she has no worries about it. It's no issue, because her man is there, and they have that love and that connection there. And she has she switched out of the red suit into another red dress, and inside of the mirror, and you see when she's putting that lip gloss on, little bling bling.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think they're married. I think they're engaged.
Yeah, because she mentioned something to Molly, which I don't know if you're gonna get to this part, so I don't want to jump ahead.
No, that's fine. We're almost there. Like, she's at the mirror, she's putting on her lipstick, she's smiling. Nobody's talking back. There is not a mirror girl talking to her. It's just her looking in the mirror, smiling. And then she gets the call from Molly, who seemingly is on her honeymoon.
Let's go back to the mirror lip gloss scene. Okay. Because I just thought about this. Remember in season 1? Episode 1,
when she was doing the lipsticks?
Yes. Was that a nod back to that episode?
I don't know,
because that was her birthday.
That sure was.
That scene was her birthday, that she and Molly were getting ready to go out, and celebrate. And yet she was doing the lipstick changes, and her speech in the mirror then, rap in the mirror then, was full of insecurities, things that just were not going right, how she wasn't happy. And I forget if she had a conversation at all with this last scene with her putting on the lip gloss. Was she saying anything at all then?
Nothing, nada. Okay. She just smiled.
Okay. So I'm thinking that was a nod back to that scene. So it's come full circle. There's no more insecure raps in the mirror. She got together now, putting the lip gloss on. And also that scene in season 1, episode 1, she was changing lip gloss several times.
Yep.
You know, still different trying colors. To figure it out, couldn't make her mind up.
Didn't know herself well.
I think she only put on like one color this time that they showed.
That was it.
She knew she had it figured out.
Look at that.
So I'm thinking maybe that could have tied in together. Maybe.
I think so. Like that makes a whole lot of sense. You using your brain today.
And that just came to me. I thought about that because I haven't rewatched the show like you did. I probably should have, but I didn't get a chance.
No, it's all good.
But yeah, I just thought about that just then.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
So what you were getting ready to say about she had a phone call with Molly then.
And Molly's in Greece, looking like she was on her honeymoon. And she's like, girl, I miss you. You know, it's worrisome to travel with me and he ain't gonna leave my side. Right. And then to your point earlier, where we both think they're just engaged, she's like, oh, that's what I got to get used to. Like, that's what
Right. What I had to look forward to. So they weren't married yet. I'm thinking, they were just still engaged.
And then Prentice said in the wind down that they wanted to get the broken P word line into the show. So that's why Molly was like, yeah, girl, I ain't really seen Grease because I think, he might have broken my, And she said, oh, and then Issa was like, oh, it's funny now. It's a joke now. You can laugh at that now. So it was a call back to, season 1.
Right. And that line, that whole scene happened in that same episode of the lip gloss change going up for Issa's birthday. All of that happened in the same episode. So, okay, maybe they did tie all that in together.
Issa wrote it well. She wrote this well.
The last episode was good.
Yeah. And that's it. They, the lift is coming, the sitter's there, and she about to enjoy the night with her man.
Do you think that was a nod to Issa's previous job as a Lyft driver by them saying that the Lyft is coming to pick us up and take us out?
I don't know. It could have. I mean, that's like, you take a Lyft if you don't want to drive. That's normal, but it could have been.
I just thought about that too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yep. But it was a good episode. It was a slow season, but it finished well. They tied the bow on a lot of things that we were wondering how it was gonna happen. We all knew her and Lawrence were gonna come together, but we just didn't know, how it was gonna happen. But we see it happened the way it happened. It took several years. And you got to be patient. I have this tattoo on my arm from West Africa. It's a symbol of love. And it symbolizes love never loses its way home. I don't stress and worry about anything that happens in the past or if something doesn't turn out the way I think, because love is never going to lose its way home, as we see with Lawrence and Issa.
That's true. If it's meant to be, it will be.
Any predictions on how you think the future of their lives are going to be, any of the characters?
Okay, I'll start and then work up to our main characters.
Okay.
Derek and Tiffany, like you said, she was pregnant with another baby at Molly's wedding, so they're expanding their family. I think that will open them up to life in Denver more. I think they'll probably enjoy raising the family in Denver as opposed to raising one in Los Angeles. So hopefully Tiffany is opening up to life in Denver more, being a mother with her family in Denver. Hopefully she's opened up to that more. They looked happy at the wedding. She and Derek did. So hopefully they have adjusted to life in Denver. Kelly, was she married to the guy They
I
didn't
don't.
say anything about her
They
being
didn't say
married.
anything about marriage,
Okay,
but
but
she
they
had
was
had that baby for sure because it was a year after at the wedding.
okay.
They didn't
Hopefully
show
they
it
did.
though.
You know, insecure in these time frames this season because Simone was
So Simone should have been 5 years old by now.
okay. Okay, but yeah, the man was still Kelly's man was still in her life, so she's moving forward with that. Maybe they'll make it official too and get married.
Yeah.
I can see that being something that would happen with her character. And as far as her career, I love the fact that she chose to leave where she was and move on to helping Black folks plan estates because we need that. So I was happy to see her career progress in that way. Molly and Torian, I think they're gonna have a ball together. I think they will enjoy being together. Yeah. I mean, they are for each other. Like looks like they complement each other well. Torian, it looked like she's keeping him in check. That he's doing the same thing for her. Love to see that. Love to see her find her happy ending because we started the series with her being a whole wreck about finding
all over the place.
A mate, somebody to be with. So we happy to see her find happiness. And also Yvonne, who plays Molly on the show, she her Instagram post, her farewell Instagram post that she posted to the show was in her caption, she stated that Prentice, the writer and showrunner of Insecure, said that when Molly finds happiness, then the show is over. And so I guess that's so it was cool to see that come full circle because she started this series just unhappy, just she just could not find happy. She just could not choose happiness. So I'm happy to see her choose happiness with Torian. I like them together. I kind of predicted that. And I'm happy to see that happen.
So like 1 or 2 seasons ago, before any
when they first showed her going to that firm and just how their chemistry with one another, how
I didn't see
they reacted and just seeing them together. I'm like, you know what, that might be who she ends up being
and
with.
I was like, nah, but you were right.
Yes, so I'm happy to see them together. I mean, they in Greece on their honeymoon, just enjoying life,
living life.
Yes.
Oscar de la Renta on the dress,
yes,
Cartier on the earrings.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I don't know what his tuxedo was. I don't know if she only talked about that yet. Yes. That whole wedding scene was beautiful. I think all the bridesmaids went they were in Valentino. Sorry.
Ooh,
the bridesmaids were in Valentino.
Nice.
But yeah, that whole wedding scene was pretty. The glam department, hair, makeup, costumes, set design, production design, all of that was good.
The budget was there, okay?
I mean, what budget? What budget?
Right. What you want to do? Okay, let's sign off.
Thank you. That was beautiful. That whole scene was beautiful. So yeah, I see Molly doing that with Tarian. You think they may have children? That they'll find the time to have children and raise children?
I'll say my predictions after you're done.
Okay. So I don't know about the children thing with them. They're both, hella busy. But I don't know about that. But yeah, their marriage, loved it. Let me see. Now, Issa and Lawrence, since they were engaged, we see them, we should, hopefully, they'll go ahead on and get married. And she'll just, have a bonus son that, will always be part of her life, that she'll love just like he was her own. And I hope that they have their own children too.
I think so.
Yeah, so I can see them doing that in the future. I don't know if they stay in LA or do they, well, I guess maybe he should stay in LA to be near his son and not go to San Fran and work.
Yeah, it's some good jobs out here for a tech out here.
Yeah, and look like they were doing well, living together too.
Hello.
And I wanted to ask you about that, because you talked about how she had previous thoughts about if she did work with Crenshaw only, that she wouldn't be able to make the money that she, desired to make.
Mm-hmm.
But we saw her making the money
Right.
and then still, working in Inglewood.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think happened with that? Like, how do you think that she was able to do both, make the money and still work in Inglewood with her people?
I don't know because they didn't tell it, they didn't show it. But for me, she would have to have more clients. Either I don't think she works exclusively with Crenshaw. I don't think that's feasible in order for her to have her own space, her own office with several employees and making the money that she seemingly makes. I think she would have to have more clients. So, and we saw when they were trying to get more clients on when they were working with Nothing But Water, where people had heard about the work that they did. So maybe when she formed that bond with Crenshaw and had that bridge reconnect instead of him, talking mess about her on social media, that made other creators, other people trust her a little bit more and then make them want to get in business with her. I still don't know how she makes money. But, I think that with word of mouth, with the good connections she has with Krishan, she was able to get more clients and more money started coming in. And then she was able to stay in the community and help the community. And I don't think they really moved outside of the community either. They didn't show where the house was, but they didn't make it a mention to say that it was somewhere else other than, that area. So, yeah, I don't know how she's making the money, but I think, she had to have more clients by
Okay.
word of mouth.
You don't think it was because Lawrence is in her life now
Of
and she has
course.
his resources as well?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. If you have a husband or a fiance or a girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever who's making good, that's what my prayer is to God. Now, like, please send me somebody who can split these bills. Like,
Okay, Lord,
you
we
know
see
how
what
much
you did for
money?
Easter D, Lord.
Please,
I see what
God,
you're doing for Easter D, Lord.
please.
Yvonne
Because
put that in her post too. She was like, okay, now can the art
right.
imitate life?
Please. Please. Because you
Yeah.
know how much money I could save per month if I didn't have to pay full rent. Girl, come on. Yes. So yeah, that helps greatly because he has a steady job where he's making a lot of good money and they're not broke at all. Like they're able to really, and I think that might have helped her progress a little bit faster with her job too, because having that security blanket, having that secure, connection at the house makes you take more risk because
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
more money and more security to do so.
Yep.
Man.
Okay. So that's my predictions. I guess
Okay.
since you said that, we can leave that into being your predictions.
Okay. So
Stemming from that.
I'll start with Tiffany. I really wanted Tiffany to be more settled into her life in Denver by now, but I see that takes a little bit while, and I should have known because it took me a while to settle into LA being my home. So, it's a very different scene too because LA is such a city hustle bustle. Well, not really. It's kind of like a big town, but it's like scenes. And she's a very egotistical, I want to be seen, materialistic type person. So
And works
LA
in
fit her
PR.
well.
And working in PR is for her as well.
Yes. So living in LA is very much her style. So you take her out of that element into something that's more suburban, she's not going to know how to react to it. So it's going to take her a minute to really get past those layers of this image that she has. And I think with time, especially with the second baby and get into the groove of what life is in Denver, she's going to either accept it or be bitter forever. And I don't think she's the type to remain bitter because she loves her husband. She's not going to leave that man. He loves her as we've shown that his support of her during those times. And I think they're just going to have to figure it out. What makes her happy? Is it going to be more so her raising the kids at the house now that he makes all this money and it can afford this lifestyle? They didn't seem like they were struggling with him having the only job. So I think she's going to have to figure out what really makes her happy and grow within herself. And I don't think we've seen a lot of her growth in the series, but more of that it will come in the future. It has to be, or she's not going to be able to raise these two kids. And I think with Kelly, I love that for Kelly. I don't necessarily think that she'll get married or not. I don't, that didn't seem that that's a goal for her. She just wants to be happy, and she met someone she truly loves. She's working at a job that she's passionate about for a Black firm, working with Black people. So she gets to be herself, her crazy cool, self, helping out the community but still making good money. And so I think, her having that child with that man, that we never would have saw. I never would have guessed that for her at the final season. Like, I never would have guessed her having a child, being in a steady relationship, working with Molly, all that. I never would have progress or projected for her. So in the future, I just see more of that, more of happiness. I don't think she's a person who likes structure too much. So a marriage, I don't really know. I don't need know if that's for her. Molly and Torian, I told you a lawyer out here can't afford a house. So two lawyers together can afford a house for sure. Because I mean, in LA County, if you want a house with a view in LA County, they're going to be 2 to 3 million at the least, and you're going to be making $300,000-$400,000 a year. So no, a lawyer unfortunately cannot afford a house, depending on what level they're on. But her and Torian together, absolutely. I see them selling into a house. I see them happy. I see them enjoying themselves for a minute, waiting on the child, like enjoying the freedom, because they're both like free spirited people, and they're both really about their career. And so I think when a child comes, a nanny will have to be there, because I don't think Molly is the type to give up her career, even though she understands more so now with her mother passing and her parents getting, her dad getting older, and people progressing in their lives. I think she understands more now the importance of the small things, of the family unit, of having that love there. And it's not just about career. I think she understands that, but the way Molly is and how she's set up and how she loves her career, I don't think she's gonna give it up completely. So I think if children come, it's gonna be a wait, and I think it's gonna be more so a nanny situation helping out, and they both would continue working. And maybe Molly, you will use that time to form her own thing with Kelly and have their own like smaller company where they still can do the thing that they want to do, but it's not as busy as being in this firm. So that might be a possibility. And I thought that would be the case at this finale, but not the case now. So that's for Molly. And then Issa, of course, they're gonna have a grand wedding. They're gonna have a wedding. I think they're not gonna go outside of LA to have the wedding, because she loves LA too much. I think they're gonna have kids. I think also it might be a little wait, because Issa's just now getting the Blow CC off the ground and thriving. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna call it now. And so the Blow CC is doing well and thriving, and she spent so many years and so much agony getting to this point. I don't think she's gonna give that up just yet and have a family that she has to take away that time to raise the kids. So I think, yes, children will come, and that's what's on her mind when she projected them being together a few seasons ago. And when he bought that cradle and that crib in his place in San Fran, I always told you that was for Issa's baby, because that baby wasn't going to San Fran.
That confused me too this season.
That baby wasn't going to San Fran. Josh.
But he and Issa weren't even together to be thinking about having a child in.
I know it. That wasn't his intention, but that was what it's gonna be. That crib is in a house, in that house somewhere.
I didn't understand that either. And he doesn't even live there no more.
Right. And I'm telling, that crib is in their house somewhere collecting dust until she's ready to have kids.
Another baby. Yeah, that made I didn't understand that at all. Like, Condola was not about to let him take the baby back to San Fran.
She even let you take him an hour
down
away.
The street, right.
No. So so I think kids are for sure for them, but I think the Blow CC, seeing how it's thriving, she's gonna be committed to making sure that is steady and having someone in place where if she does have kids, that can still thrive. But yeah, everybody's an adult. The friend group is not going to get together as much as they used to, and they may not talk as much as they used to because they all have their separate lives, but is love there, and is the connection. I think all of them have solid foundations, not only with their partners, but with each other, where it doesn't matter what's going to happen in their lives, they're going to be there.
Yeah. I think that last episode showed that too, what you just said about they will still be in each other's life, even though they can't probably get together physically as much as they used to. Because that's life. As we get older, our families expand. We just can't be together like we used to, but they still found the point. You saw how they would call each other still, so they still found, a way to be there, even though they couldn't be there physically.
And you see in the beginning of this episode, they were like, the least we could do is be there for our birthdays. Yes. So they had a real intention to be there for each other's birthdays. But as you see throughout the show, that doesn't happen every time. Molly couldn't make it to Kelly's birthday because she was still mourning. Eventually, Molly has a birthday. It was just her and her man. And then Issa's birthday, now you see her working at the Blow CC, and then she's going to go out with her man. So she's going to get a call, and she's going to get maybe presents sent in, but it's not, you realistically, you can't be there all the time.
You just can't.
We know
life takes you places, right? You just can't always be there, but you can still communicate. You can still, reach out, even though you can't be there. So I thought they did a good job in showing that, because that is real life, like you said.
Yep. No love lost between our friendship. We just understand that we're just in different spaces, different, states, and we just have to keep that community. And it's not forceful. It's not like, oh, I gotta like make sure I text Bianca. Like, we just talk and we have similar things in common. So we just keep that communication going. So,
and that's it. When you get things in common, like you're going to want to, make the time for that person. You're going to want to do it. So it's not going to be a burden because you want to do it.
Yep. So that was a good episode, good series. I'm sad it's over, but hopefully it is inspiring to other creatives to create. Please, y'all, create something like, you don't have to be exactly like this, but of the same quality. Please. We've seen other people try. No names will be named, but quality is importante, okay? Please.
Yeah. Insecure definitely hit it out the park with this when they changed the game.
Yep.
And just thinking, I was thinking about this the other day when we were talking about, when we have our weekly recaps, and we were talking about something. We were talking about being able to sell, names of A-list people.
Oh yeah, we were talking
in
about
projects. Okay. And I was thinking about Insecure really didn't have that, behind the scenes or in front of the camera.
Great point.
HBO still took a chance, and look what it's done. So
they talked about that. Go ahead. No, I'm because I'm excited because you mentioned something they talked about, but go ahead, finish up.
So I'm hoping that's what we can get moving forward too. Like, we need new talent. New talent is coming out every day. Please give people a chance, new talent a chance, new ideas a chance. So hopefully that's what will change moving forward too from this.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if they mentioned it in the documentary or the wind down, but Prentice and Issa talked about this, where there was intentional, Issa didn't want to bring in the same Black talent that is recycled all over again into this new show, because she wanted this to feel like a new thing and feel like a new adventure. And that to them made the audience invest in it more, because they're not used to seeing these people. So they want to see what's going to happen next. They want to find out who is this person playing this character. Is making the audience invest in it more, because these are new faces, new talent. And in a documentary, Yvonne, who plays Molly, said that when she had auditioned, I think 3 or 4 times, and when before her last audition, they were like, how can we contact you? Her phone, she had to pay for either her phone bill to be on or an acting coach, because she didn't want to lose this job. So she chose to pay for the acting coach, the one-on-one coach. And she was like, I hope they find another way to contact me, because my phone about to get cut off. So she was very new and very much so in the beginning stages of where she wanted to be. And now look at her. She has her own special on Netflix. She has a book that's out. She's on these different projects. She's a known person, a known face in this space. And it was all because Issa was willing to take a chance and bring in new talent and new faces into this this series. And that was intentional.
Did she talk about HBO's response to her wanting to do that? Were they hesitant about it or supportive?
No, they only talked about that I remember they talked about HBO's process of getting it done and how long it took from the pilot and pitching it to actually shooting it, and her refocusing the storyline from her being in the workplace a lot to her having this friend group and having storylines outside of that.
Mm.
So her work with HBO to get it from pilot or pitch to actual pilot that's on the screen or on the TV took a long time rewriting and revising what the message would be, what the focus would be. And no, they didn't. I don't remember them talking about her. They probably, as all studios say, hey, it was a familiar face to sell this thing. A lot of studios do that, but it was her thing. And I think they underestimated how big Insecure would be.
Definitely did. They
And
definitely
so
did that.
that's a great thing though. And I thought about this earlier about how I try to let people underestimate me a little bit at work too. Because if you underestimate me, you're not going to see me as a threat. You're not going to see me as this thing that you have to manage so much because you don't think it's going to be too much. So with Insecure, you may not think it's going to turn out that well. You want to return on the money that you spent, of course, but you're not, you're like, oh, they could do whatever, you know what I'm saying? But as it progresses and you see the success of it, it's too late to go back and change characters or do the things that you may have suggested in the beginning because you thought of this big success or you thought it would
Mm-hmm.
make this big money. Of course, they might throw Brad Pitt into the mix or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like a Denzel Washington or something,
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't need it.
Not at all. And I do remember Issa saying this on one of her press appearances that she was doing before the season premiered this last season. I forget which platform it was on, but she talked about how they wanted a big name director or showrunner to come on board, and she did not want that person. And
Yeah,
so I think maybe that's so. Yeah, they probably were hesitant about her bringing all new faces on, but it worked out. It worked out.
it did.
It's a bank. And I wanted to ask you, when they premiered the show first season, wasn't it coming on after Game of Thrones?
I think so.
Okay. So I wonder if HBO was like, we're gonna put it after this big time show and see how it does.
And I think that's helpful because if you put it right after a big time show, some people just gonna naturally keep the channel on. So they're just gonna naturally see what this is about. And so that I think that helps when you do it like that, when you
Okay.
put a new show after a big show. Right now there's no little show coming after because it was Succession, then it was Insecure, then it was Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Right.
Now, so there's
Right.
like three main shows for HBO that are bringing in, I'm guessing bringing in good income for them. So, but that does help, I think, when you put in a new show. And I think I had gotten into a new show that HBO had produced a while back because it came out to girls, and I
Okay.
naturally just kept the channel on, and I was like,
Okay.
let me just see what this is about. But yeah, I think they do that on purpose to get some of the audience to like just gather and see what this is about. And I think that might have helped.
And you notice how when the show first started, of course, she had to be inclusive with her characters, which I'm pretty sure that the studio wanted her to do as well. But
Mhm.
as the seasons went on, it was just us in the
What do you
show.
mean?
No Caucasian people were in the show anymore.
Oh,
She started the show. I think she said that was one thing that they requested was that she include, Caucasian people in the show. But the culture was supporting the show. We
yeah,
were there, for it through and through.
yeah,
And I'm glad that HBO saw that and
yeah.
gave her the creative range to just do it her way, the
Well,
way she wanted to do it.
I've worked in Hollywood and worked for entertainment esque companies, and that is a thing where they want to test to see if they can include the majority into spaces that the majority is not, it is not made for them, just because they want their viewers, they
Hmm.
want the viewers of the majority to watch so they can get more income from the viewers. And, you know, like to your point, after time had passed and they saw the strong cult following, business minded people know that with marketing, you don't cater to the masses, you cater to whoever's feeding you. You
Yes.
the 80% of your sales are going to come from this target audience, this
Yes, you
niche
gotta know your
audience.
audience. Yes.
So if you know your audience and you cater to them, they're going to service you every time. You service them, they're going to service you. So I think, I don't work at HBO. I don't know, their tactics of how they market things or what goes on with them, but just general in marketing, period, you need to cater to the audience that you service, because 80% of your sales normally come from that audience. So it's more beneficial that way.
Yes, and hopefully Hollywood catches on to that.
Yeah, because we don't need another series that shows Black people acting like they're acting Black. Just let them be Black and they can act however they like.
Yeah.
Please. They can be themselves. They can show humanity. They don't have to be this caricature, or however you say that word, of a Black person, of a mad Black woman. They don't have to. You don't have to do that.
Just be authentic.
Please.
Which is a great way to connect with the audience. We like to see ourselves. Like, how many times have you heard people say, I can see myself in all of these characters on Insecure?
I, for a time, thought that they were following me. Too much stuff was too similar in my life.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Well, I enjoyed this conversation. This was always, as always, a good talk about our favorite show coming to an end. We're in our 30s, around the same age. So, we're both in spaces where we're about to start thriving, if we're not thriving already. So it's very, art is intimidating life for sure. And it's just, I'm sad to see it go, but it's good things come to an end. So
yeah, all good things must come to an end.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I like the way that they did end it. I was happy with every character's arc. So
yeah,
I'm cool with them bowing out gracefully.
Yeah.
And they didn't overstay their welcome.
Exactly. Well, I'm gonna tie it up right there. If you have any questions or comments, comment on this Instagram or this YouTube link, or however you found me. Comment and let me know what you want to talk about. What were your thoughts about the finale, the whole series, the whole season? Where you think the characters are gonna go in the future? Any questions for us? Reach out to Bianca. I'll put her social media on there. You can reach out to me as well. But until next time, remember to love yourself, define yourself, and think for yourself. Peace.
Bye.